You're listening to Podcast PXN,
a video game podcast
delivering player experience news.
Let's go!
Roll for initiative, and welcome to Podcast PXN episode 204. I am one of your hosts, the perennial dating app swiper from Portland, Oregon, Christian Macias, and I'm joined over Discord by Kentucky's #1 Spartan PXN founder, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM.
Let's go! Sorry.
Soundboard, this guy, soundboard. And the president of the Tifa Lockhart fan club, he's the Nintendo aficionado, and the artist extraordinaire himself at Roro. Oh, hello. Gage decided, ooh, my head hurts. Oh, God, I'm so traumatic. I don't want to be here. I can't look at screens. So he's not here today. Instead, we have you. So thank you, everyone watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Just search Podcast PXN. You can also find us simultaneously streaming on twitch.tv/podcastpxn. Housekeeping today is Dan got me this box, and if you want to explain to the audience what this, the lore behind it.
It's just a troll, because Christian kept telling me that I hated him because everyone else got their wristbands from 200, and I was like, "Hey, did you get yours?" And you're like, "No, I haven't got mine." And then, I think I got it back in the mail, and I was like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And then I asked other people if they got theirs, and they're like, "Yeah, I got mine." And then Christian's like, "No, I didn't get mine." I'm like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, so, on purpose.
Yeah, no. I had to. So then I had to create a box to troll you with because I knew the box would be delivered because it's there's set postage for a box. So yeah, I just did that and put some stuff in there. Why don't you go ahead and open it up?
I'm nervous, dude. First of all, if you're gonna give me like a pink slip, no longer at PXN.
No. It's nothing. It's nothing crazy, but it is kind of fun.
Back, it's a little,
Oh,
there you go. Maybe it popped.
It couldn't hear it.
What is this?
Yeah, you see like 20 wristbands in there.
You gave it 20 Podcast PXN there's like.
Yeah,
there's so many, dude.
Yeah.
What am I saying? Oh yeah, and like when you go on a plane, they give you this little Biscoff little cookie. So I got a Biscoff, and then this
what
card.
else?
Game developer.
Yeah.
Comedia. Oh, it's gonna be blurry.
What is that even from?
Comedia, legendary dev. At the beginning of your turn, play 3 coins on the. It's from a game.
Yes, it is. It's from a game called Game Developers. But that's not all, Christian. What's the other thing I gave you?
Oh, I think it's underneath the box. Hold on, I think it got snagged.
Oh,
is that money?
This is the best troll, though. This is the best troll. Right.
It's fake money. It's a 25.
No, it's real.
money.
It's Honduras money. But here's what I would like you to do, Christian. Put that up to the screen. Put that up to the screen. No, the other side. Put the other side up to the screen. All right, put that up real close. Real close. Let's see if it focuses. All right, move it a little bit to the right. A little bit to the right. Right there. Now, what are those 2 little letters right there, say, Christian?
F you. You're so stupid,
Let's
dude.
go.
Why did you give me money? Why did you?
It was just a troll because I had said F you and I was like, this will be fantastic. My sister, that's a funny story why I have Honduras money. My sister went to Honduras when she was in high school because she went for a volleyball tournament or whatever. And she gave me a bunch of money. And that was like one of the duplicates that I had. So I was like, I'm going to send this to him because it says F you on it.
That's a special thing. You got to keep this, dude.
I have a bunch of it, and literally it's the same. Like I have a duplicate of that. So
it looks. By the way, this looks like this was minted in November 16th, 1994. Just a couple of weeks after I was born.
Oh, hell yeah!
There we go. It was meant to be.
It was. Yeah.
Throw up the wristbands, everyone.
What about the 11? What about the 19 others?
Yeah.
I mean this tonight, and I'm going to display these 2 things somewhere, so thank you.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm going to do with all this. hand them out at the gym or something.
Oh, that would be
Go to
great.
GameStop.
Hell yeah.
Hold on. All right, sorry, I dropped one. Hold on.
No, you're good. I wish I could have sent some cool shit to Gage and Roe, but I would have had to mortgage my house to do that because it's ungodly expensive.
It's expensive. Yeah.
God.
All right, folks, that's enough box talk and FU talk. The topic of the show this week is Dungeons and Discourse, disrupting the video games industry. More on that later. The show always starts first with a quick bite, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Quick bite number one. By the way, if we get through these fast enough, we're going to go to Christian's super secret sexy time segment.
Ooh.
If and only if.
Let's fly through this then.
Quick bite number one, FIFA 23, which again isn't FIFA 23, it's at EAFC, has added its first ever hijab-wearing player. Morocco player Nouhalia Benzina recently made history by being the first player to play in a World Cup match while wearing the headscarf. It's pretty cool to see that representation now in the games as well.
Wait, is this FIFA 23 or 20? So this is the game from last year.
Oh, you're right. It's current. You're right. That's the current FIFA.
Okay.
Yeah. So they just made an update. Even better. You don't have to wait. You can just update the game and there you go.
Yeah, that is cool. Very cool representation.
Let's represent the PlayStation IP with this new TV show. Twisted Metal is Peacock's most binged comedy premiere to date, NBC Universal claims. And I don't know who's watching this. Why is this the most binged comedy on Peacock?
On Peacock.
That's true.
They have The Office on Peacock.
True.
They have that 70s show on Peacock.
But I mean,
Throwing that out there.
I don't know. I feel like
Everyone's-
people, if you're watching The Office, you're probably watching it on a different streaming platform, probably.
No,
So- no?
it's only on Peacock here.
Oh, it is?
But
Oh,
they
okay.
probably to your point though, Ro, they probably are the people that are already interested in The Office. Most of them probably already watched it on
Already watched
Netflix
it.
Wait.
years ago.
Wait, comedy
That's where I thought it
premiere
was.
today. So it'd be like new shows, not
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. I didn't do it very well, but I feel like there's a caveat here that like a loophole that makes it most binged,
Hmm.
as opposed to like
Yeah.
actually competing against big name shows and stuff. But
Or
yeah.
Justice for Poker Face, Ryan Johnson's mystery drama of the week show. That was really good.
Hmm.
Destiny news. Keith David will be voicing Zavala in Destiny moving forward. And that's dude, I love Keith David. It's a cool voice. I think it's a really good replacement.
Definitely.
Couldn't have picked a better replace. I mean, obviously, super terrible that what happened to Lance
Sure.
Reddick and everything, but you couldn't have chosen a better replacement. My RB.
And they're not changing any of Reddick's previous lines recorded, so it's only the new stuff.
Right.
Quake 2 Remastered is up for $9.99 on eShop, PSN, Xbox Live, and I think PC as well. It will include an all-new expansion called Call of the Machine. Quake 2 64 is free. Also features crossplay and then motion aiming on PlayStation and Switch. Some more details too. I think it you get 4K. I think somewhere that was mentioned, or at least I saw that somewhere, not in these Wario 64 tweets. Either way, though, if you've never played Quake 2 and want to play Quake 2 Remastered, you can do so now. Oh, it's also on Game Pass.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Always good to have these games accessible and at a fair price.
Yeah, is that a dig at a Rockstar?
I would never.
$50 conversion. Peep this out. Roblox has announced plans to conduct some of its future job interviews on the platform itself. The company has launched a new interactive Roblox Career Center where users can also learn about the company, which is just wild to see the stuff that is happening on that platform. It gets crazier and crazier every few months.
That's insane.
Maybe
I
we should
feel like
post PXN on Roblox one day.
We should. That'd be nice. Or maybe we could go to your Minecraft house. Christian.
Oh,
Do it from there. Yeah.
the thing is though, Ro, when you go to Christian's Minecraft house, babies get made.
Oh, I mean,
So,
I'm not.
What are you
against
implying? What are you implying?
I mean,
That I don't practice safe sex?
it. Oh my god.
sure.
Okay. Just making sure. Speaking of sex, Mercury Steam is developing 2 unannounced games. What a transition, eh? What a transition. And in my head, it makes sense because like Metroid Dread was so good.
So good.
But you wouldn't know that because I didn't say that, so it just seems like a total non sequitur. But anyway, Mercury Steam is working on 2 unannounced projects, according to the latest earnings from Nordisk Games. One of these is the speculative, I guess, rumored fantasy title that's being worked on with publisher 505 Games. The second title is unknown. Could it be another 2D Metroid? I would love that.
Me too. I'm excited to see what their new game is, like their new fantasy stuff. But after Dread, I'm like, yeah, give me more 2D Metroids. I'm down for
After
that.
Dread, anything they do, I'm like, yeah, I'll put it on my
Yeah.
radar.
Exactly. Yeah, they've definitely been added to the list of developers that I want to see more of.
Bro, did you beat Dread?
I did. Yes. Yeah.
Swag. That's a cool game. What a cool game.
So cool.
Here's some less cool news. Not for me, I guess. But for you guys, maybe. Who knows? A new trailer for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has confirmed a large number of returning starter Pokemon. Get excited if you want to have more Pokemon at your disposal when you start up the game.
Hells yeah. I like this. I understand why these things happen later on in the Pokemon life cycle. I just wish this stuff was there at the beginning when I'm more into it. I like the DLC that they announced. They did like a little Pokemon Direct present sort of thing. Excited for that, but I mean, this is good news. I just wish it happened sooner when I was more hardcore into it. But yeah, it's good news.
Give us a
See more
new
Pokemon.
Give us a new Pokemon with only the originals, and then I'll buy it.
Oh,
How about this? Give us a Pokemon game utilizing the hardware to its advantage and not make it look the way it looks.
that's crazy. That's crazy talk.
Do you know what I mean, though? Like, look at Tears of the Kingdom and then look at the other Pokemon games.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, it's Scarlet and Violet is pretty rough around most of its edges, if not all.
If not all. The next one, I guess, should have been in News of the Week because it's well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about it. We'll confab. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Last Ronin has officially been announced at THQ Nordic at their THQ like presents thing. I forgot what it was called, but they had a live stream there. Some details. They put out a trailer, by the way. It's set in a futuristic, war-ravaged New York City. Of course, it was post-apocalyptic in the comic, The Last Ronin. The game will have a darker tone aimed at an older and more mature audience, which is good. Again, going back to the comic. Based on the limited run graphic novel series where only one Ninja Turtle is still alive.
Oh.
If you don't know who The Last Ronin is, can you guess which turtle has I guess spoilers. I won't say it. Senior Vice President of Paramount compared it to big action RPGs like God of War. And then it's coming exclusively to current gen hardware, which means PS5, the Xbox Series suite of consoles, and then, of course, PC. It's being developed by Black Forest Games, creators of Destroy All Humans, and is likely still a few years off. And yet, the trailer tone piece was very much pretty cool. I'm actually excited. Very funny, though, to see like that and then like see Nickelodeon come up right after. It's a cool trailer. Teaser.
It's all of that sounds really awesome. I just hope that the developer can actually fulfill what they're kind of promising there, because I don't know that they're like super well known or anything for Destroy All Humans franchise. But yeah, I hope that they land this. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I agree with. I haven't played the Destroy All Humans games. They're not really my they don't seem like my cup of tea. I see on Steam that they have a pretty positive rating, but the other games that they have on their catalog, Fade to Silence, two other older games, are more mixed. So I'm hoping this is more in the destroy all humans category, and they're able to nail it. But yeah, I was excited by this, and then I saw who the developer was, and then I was like, okay, I'll have to wait and see before I get too excited. But I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I had a lot of fun playing Shredder. What was the 2D beat 'em up game? Was it called Shredder's Revenge?
Yes.
Obviously, that's a completely different genre, but I love the Turtles, so I'm excited to see their take on this story.
One thing
We haven't. Yeah, tell me.
One thing, so I completely blanked on this as well. They developed the remasters for Destroy All Humans 1 and 2. They didn't develop the original.
Developer.
That was
Okay.
Pandemic, who was shut down by
Got
EA.
it.
That's a good caveat though. That's yeah, because they didn't make the original game, so now they're making an original game. Granted, it is adapting an IP though, so we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't really mind. I'm in favor of more AA games. We haven't had a AA games of this caliber since what, like the GameCube, PS2 days. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
that's the last time I've really seen something like this. I'm all for it. That was the last 3D Ninja Turtle game. Was like that era. Let's do another one. I'm down.
Now
I'm curious to see. Go ahead.
I'm with you, but like, why did THQ say this compares to fucking God of War, which is like the biggest blockbuster you could possibly like? That I don't know if that was a good decision.
That's going to be in terms of like tone for the narrative. I gather.
Okay.
Like a more mature take on and granted, like the comic is also a bit like more mature Ninja Turtle take. So I'm guessing it's something like akin like that.
Gotcha.
You know, and then probably closeness, over the shoulder, third person, combat focused.
Gotcha.
Oh, that sounds rad.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they nail it.
Here's some rad news for Daniel. Assassin's Creed Mirage is ready to go earlier than expected. It's releasing now 1 week earlier, which means Dan has less time to complete like 4 games he hasn't beaten this year.
What?
Nice. Nice. I forgot about that. You got to come back from your vacation a week after Starfield comes out and then now beat it a week earlier.
Ugh. Yeah, that's not happening. I mean, let's be real.
I was being real earlier when it went off. You weren't.
Oh,
I was there.
A little social media joke for you.
Get on the row. Get on, be real.
oh. I just
work?
I took a picture of the wrong screen. There we go.
There we go. We did it, folks.
We did it.
Last quick bite. Xbox is launching a new strike-based enforcement system for offensive player conduct. Dan is going to get so many strikes so fast. Actually, just kidding. Fill me in on this. I didn't read the article. Tell me about this.
Yes. It actually sounds really interesting because I know we had the conversation a couple weeks ago when they first were talking about this, and we were talking about it being moderated by just automatically or by a person, which we found out it is being moderated by a human person, which is good. So essentially, you start with 0 strikes, and depending on the severity of the action that has happened, so they list a few examples here of profanity, cheating, sexually inappropriate, harassment or bullying, hate speech. So those are all examples. And for instance, they're weighted differently. So hate speech gives you automatically +3 of these strikes. So essentially, once you get up to 8 strikes, you get a 1-year ban from Xbox Live. So you cannot play online at all for 1 whole year if you get 8 strikes in a calendar year, or a rolling year. I'm sorry, not calendar year. It's a rolling year. So basically, it's going to keep track of that, and it's weighted. The worst ones get the most amount of strikes each time, and then it will fall off. So like a year from now, if you had a strike for that, you would lose the 3 points or 3 strikes to go back to 0 if you had no other ones, or just subtract them. But yeah, there's different severities. So 1 strike gives you a 1-day suspension, 2 strikes gives you a 1-day suspension, 3 strikes gives you 3-day suspension, 4 strikes, 7 days, 5, 14 days, 6, 21 days, 7, 60 days, and if you get to 8, a whole year suspension. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a good start to kind of move towards a good direction, I guess. There was some feedback from people saying that they hope that they adjust this to make it less strikes before you get the 1-year ban, because apparently their metrics show that not a lot of people get a lot of strikes, or not a lot of people get another ban after their initial ban. So like people seemingly learn their lesson. So I think that I agree that I think that, 8 is a lot. Like it would be pretty hard pressed to see someone hit 8, even with the higher weightings for the worst offenses. So I wouldn't be opposed to lowering it to like 4 or 5 to try to limit that stuff as much as possible. But yeah, good start.
That is an incredible deterrent, and one you don't see very often in like other places where it seems like they're kind of. Actually, that's not true. You'll see bans in other places, but this is good. I think that's also a smart thing for people to be like, maybe you can adjust it, because you're right. 8 is a lot. You would have to, if hate speech is 3, then you would have to do 2 instances of that and then something else, and like. If you're really trying to deter that on your platform, it should be like a lot less than that. So, yeah, I'm interested to see when does this launch?
I don't think they said. So that's a good question.
But soon.
Yeah, seemingly soon, and yeah, hopefully this being combined with the voice chat thing that you can report voice chats. Seemingly those 2 things will work together to kind of help make things a lot better, which is that's really good. I like that.
They should do it before the next Call of Duty comes out.
That's absolutely true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they should. I think this is awesome, and I think a reason that we may not see this in other places is because they want people to play their games and obviously play their system and all that stuff, and even if people are bad apples, at least they're still buying and playing games on the system. So Xbox going the extra mile to like, no, you can't play this at all if you're acting this way, even though the limit is high, and maybe that's why the limit's high, to give them more chances to allow them to keep playing on their system. But I think it's still really good that they're willing to like just cut these bad apples out entirely for ruining their ecosystem, which is, I think that's pretty cool.
The one caveat to that is they did say that players that are suspended will still be able to play their whole catalog of games if they're like single player games. So
it's not online.
Yeah, so it won't mess with their account. They'll still be able to play single player. It's just Xbox Live.
They also won't. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's understandable.
Still.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Moving on, we got one Street Meat item. Stalker 2 is presumably coming out this year on December. According to the PlayOn storefront in Germany, Stalker 2 will release on December 1st, 2023. Normally, placeholder dates are the end of the calendar year, so December 31st. And there hasn't been any changes to the website since it's been reported. It's been a couple days. And on top of that, Stalker 2 will be playable at Opening Night Live this month. Was that next week? In 2 weeks? When Jeff hosts that? It seems like there is some credence for Stalker 2 to supposedly be coming out later this year. Who knows? We'll actually wait and see, but there's a little bit of credence to it.
I don't believe it until I see it.
That's fair, but I mean, look, if Stalker 2 is playable at Opening Night Live, there could be some kind of trailer during like Gamescom, right? During the presentation with the actual release date.
True. I'm trying to think if it was playable at another event previously, and I can't remember. But
All I'm saying is when dates leak like this on websites, they get taken down
it's fair.
pretty instantly, or at least the same day.
It's fair.
And what? It's been 4 days.
Yeah. I cut Stalker 2 from my fantasy critic like a couple months ago because I thought there was no chance it was going to release this year because it was supposed to come out in December, but I'm like, there's no way with the ongoing war in Ukraine and
Sure.
all of that still happening, and they're a Ukraine-based studio. So yeah, maybe it does. That'd be really cool for them, and I hope it does really well if that does happen.
And I'll pick it up on fantasy since you dropped it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. You may want to wait a little bit though. Wait till it's confirmed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sure. Yeah. And then it's delayed.
Yeah.
2 items in PXN News of the Week. How big of a deal is Starfield to Xbox in a year of groundbreaking, critically adorned titles? Let's discuss. Starfield has gone gold. Congratulations to the team at Bethesda. Preloading starts tomorrow on Xbox consoles, and then later this month on Steam. Although you should prepare your hard drives. I think it's a 160 something gig game.
Holy.
They're 160 something or 120 something. It's either of the two, but it is in the triple digits. So just fair warning.
Sheesh.
Not as much as Call of Duty, which is about 300 gigs.
All right. Yeah. Well, they just choose not to compress their games, which is just come on. I don't understand. Just I say Starfield storage maybe. What am I gonna look up? 126.1 gigs.
Big
There you
game.
have it. Big game. Dan, are you gonna be preloading this thing on your console, just staring at it before you leave?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to fucking be salivating over it. You know, actually, it's kind of funny because I'm pretty sure that early access comes out the 31st at like 7 p.m. my time. So
you can play for like a couple hours
here's
and
the
then leave.
Here's the problem. I got the collector's edition, which last I checked says it's coming September 1st. So I'm going to be fucking staring at a game that I could fucking be playing, except I can't because I don't have the early access code yet because it's in my box that won't be at my house yet, unless it ships early, which that'd be great. But
Wait,
why the fuck do companies not ship digital fucking collector's editions early? They did that. Like Halo 5's collector's edition was a digital collector's edition, and they shipped that bitch like 2 weeks ahead of time, and I had it ready to go when the game came out. Why can't we fucking do that? You know?
I'm lost. Explain this again.
Okay,
I'm stupid.
There's a digital code for the game in the physical collector's edition box. So Halo 5, for instance, they shipped it 2 weeks before the release date of the game. So I had the box 2 weeks early, entered my code, and was able to pre-download it before 2 weeks before the game was out. So why can't we do that? Like, just ship me my box 2 weeks earlier, you know?
But the game is digital, though.
Yes.
Oh, so you won't be preloading then until you get that box in.
Exactly. That's
that ships September 1st.
I can preload because of Game Pass. So that's the caveat.
So you bought the game even though it's on Game Pass.
Yes. Because I got the collector's edition. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, these details that you're gonna go into.
Yeah, I'm about to. Yeah, so it's gone gold. We know this. But some new details via Dev Q&A. I think this was on Discord or somewhere else. But yeah, some new details. You can own homes in multiple cities. If you're cruising all these planets, you can stop and have different homes, store things, live in, sleep, etc. So you can smuggle illegal cargo through security checkpoints. Just based on the designs of your ships, you can hide cargo, which I think is pretty neat. It's kind of cool way. It's cool complexity to the systems they're doing in Starfield. There's also a jail system confirmed, which everyone was like freaking out about. I actually don't know much about the jail systems. Can you explain this to me, Dan?
Yeah, essentially, like if you do something bad, you can either you get arrested. You can get arrested, and then you'll pay a fine or whatever. or you can fight them and like try to get away or whatever and get a bounty put on your head. But yeah. That sounds really cool. Yeah.
Oh, I thought Ro was going to say something. Okay, never mind.
No, I was just saying it's like GTA, like the 5 stars, and if you get caught, you have to pay the hospital bill or whatever.
It's like Red Dead.
Fine. Exactly. Yeah.
Where you get the bounty. Yeah.
Yeah.
All faction storylines can be played separately. It's nice. And then 20 plus named companions in the game, each with distinct backgrounds and perks. A lot of details. That's coming out September 1st, just a couple of weeks away. Until then, though, a lot of people have been on Twitter talking about the importance of Starfield. Gene Park called it the most important game in the Xbox library since Halo 3. Ryan McCaffrey had a IGN article calling it the most important game
since Halo 5.
To Xbox since Halo 5, yeah.
Which I don't think that Halo 5 was that important, but yeah, I don't know.
No, please go ahead. That was my question. Like, do you agree or not agree with these statements?
Yeah, in terms of Halo 5, I don't think Halo 5 was that important, to be honest. I don't... I love Halo, but Halo 5 is just, another Halo game. I don't see that as being like a pinnacle moment for Xbox or anything like that. It wasn't a launch title or anything like that. So, Halo 3 I might agree with, because Halo 3 was a big game, but at the time Halo 3 wasn't... Ago. Yeah, and at the time Halo 3 wasn't like... People weren't like, oh my god, this is the most important game of all time. Like, people were excited for it because it was supposed to end the trilogy and be really cool, but like, I don't think people were saying this is the most important game of all time, like this has to do well. It's like, I don't think people were saying that at the time, but it's, I mean, not to take away from what he's saying, because he obviously very well could feel that way, but I think it's interesting because personally, I've said this for a while. I feel like a lot of it is hyperbole, because like if Starfield, let's just say Starfield gets an 8, it's not an amazing game. I don't think that that's that big of a deal. Like I think that people like are talking this up like, oh my god, Starfield's got to be a 10 or else Xbox is fucked. Like I just don't see it that way personally. Like I feel like it's a bit hyperbole for the conversations that I've seen people saying.
The thing is you're right. That wouldn't be a bad thing. However, like I said earlier, in a year of critically adorned games, you have 2 titles this year that are on OpenCritic and Metacritic's list of the best games like ever made. Tears of the Kingdom, I think, sitting at 96, Baldur's Gate 3, 97. And then you add that to PlayStation's reported, Sony's reported need for their studios to hit like at least 90 on Metacritic. Like they have like a stamp of quality, similar to like how Nintendo games have that similar kind of stamp of quality to them. And then you look on the Xbox side, and like it seems like Discourse is like, Halo Infinite didn't meet expectations. What's the next big game from them? Starfield. And so you kind of need it to be hitting that caliber. If they just bought Bethesda as well. So like this is an important game for Microsoft coming out from that window. So you're right. When if the game receives an 8, of course it doesn't mean it's a bad game, right? It means it's a great game. However, you would need it to hit a lot harder. I'm honestly expecting it to be in the 90s, or not 90s, but like get a lot of 9s personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, this seems like one of those like a Cyberpunk 2077 situation, to not a lesser degree, but like not in the same way, because I haven't been waiting as long. But I feel like the expectations are just as high for this game. It's like Skyrim. Like it really does feel like the next big game from Bethesda as they've been touting it. So I understand why the expectations are so high. I expect this game to be good, and if it is bad, in the chance that it is bad, like that's when everybody's going to say, oh, Xbox has lost it, which they already have been saying, and they keep saying Xbox has no games. And if this is the situation that people believe that is just like a trend for them, where the game comes out and it's not as good like Redfall or whatever else has happened in the past, I still think people are going to give them more chances, maybe less so, but I think it's an interesting discussion for sure, and I think it should be had. But I feel like we have it all the time,
Yeah.
and I feel like we say
We're gonna have it in
similar
tots.
things. Yeah, which is fine. I like having this discussion. It's just I don't know if there's ever a point where we're like just count them out completely. Like we always get excited because we love video games and we want to see them succeed. And if they fail, then obviously we're disappointed and we may be a little bit more trepidatious in supporting that particular studio in the future. But I never feel like we will ever count them out completely. Like, Xbox is done. I'll never support them again because Starfield sucked, which I don't see happening. But if it does, I think I will still buy an Xbox game in the future.
And I think it's very different also, like saying like if Starfield's gonna absolutely suck versus like Starfield's good instead of being amazing. Like, you know, like
which is also
right.
Which also is technically bad in certain spaces. Like, oh, it's a good game. It's not an amazing game. Well, then you failed to meet expectations. In a certain area that is true, but like if it's a good game, then it's a good game. It doesn't mean that it's horrible. Yeah.
Exactly. I have more thoughts on this, but I have to fold this into topic of the show.
Hang on.
And the whole conversation. Yeah.
Kirik had some comments about the collector's edition for Starfield. He said, I hate that they do not give discs anymore in collector's editions. They just give you the steelbook case, but no game, just the code. I did the same thing, Dan. I bought the Constellation edition, but have Game Pass.
I don't know what you're supposed to do. Like when they give you cases, but there's no disc to accompany. What's the point?
What am I supposed to put in? Just a piece of paper.
They want you to like buy the regular version, buy 2 copies of it and then put that in. It's a shitty practice. I'm with you, Kirik. I don't understand it. And it's gonna go actually that's a perfect thing to also include into topic of the show a little bit later. So we'll just fold that for now. We'll save it for tots. But until then, one more news item of the week. This is Call of Duty news. I kind of want to gauge here to discuss a little bit. But Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 will be a premium release. That's finally been confirmed. I mean, we've been speculating it for a while. There's been a lot of rumors and credence to those rumors for a long time. But yeah, ahead of this week's MW3 reveal, Activision has confirmed that the new COD game will be a premium release, priced at $70. This year's series entry was reportedly originally planned as a major expansion rather than a full game. And if you're pissed about paying $70 because you just paid for $70 last year and you were told that the next year it'd be a 2-year cycle, next year you would just buy DLC for it, well, hopefully these details can appease you a little bit. I know it's appeasing Gage. I'm trying to appease Gage. Breaking! Activision confirms that MW3 was always designed as a premium game release, which again sucks since we were told it'd be a 2-year cycle for MW2. However, MW3 seems like it's going to be a substantial game from Sledgehammer Games, confirming that Modern Warfare zombies are included in it. Also, the campaign is set to feature open combat missions. I would gather these are similar to kind of the open concept missions from MW2, where you have a little bit of freedom of how to attack the next objective. You also have new vests and gear/perk system in multiplayer. More on that tomorrow when we get the actual release and then details of it, I'd gather. You also have a new tack stance movement. We don't know what that means yet, but there is rumors that slide canceling and other kind of movement mechanics are returning to Modern Warfare 3, which were fan favorite. It's kind of, there's a lot of, I think in the Modern Warfare community, there's a split between, do you want boots on the ground, slower gameplay, how it used to be, or do you want movement where like twitchiness, you see those clips, people are like going around, like looking everywhere. Looks like tack stance movement might be closer to the latter part of those. And then aftermarket parts for weapons, I'd imagine this is for the like overhauled gunsmith. It's supposed to be more in-depth and complex than Modern Warfare 2 was. Again, a lot of people in different camps on how the gunsmith worked in Modern Warfare 2. Some people called it way too complex. Others called it pretty fun to make all these different guns. You got to go on YouTube, look up tutorials on different builds, etc., etc. And some more details. There's a progression system, or sorry, I forgot to call it, but a lot of the stuff that you bought or earned in Modern Warfare 2 will then carry over into Modern Warfare 3. So it's not like you're completely abandoning the stuff that you've bought or earned. And then additionally, all classic Modern Warfare 2 maps from 2009 will be remastered and available in Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer on day one. And I was a little bit kind of salty on this since we were kind of, I don't know if we were told, but there were rumors that MW2 maps were coming to MW2, and then there were also added parts of MW2 maps into the Warzone maps. We're like, okay, this means that they're going to actually be in multiplayer. They never showed up. They're going to include them in MW3. Another way to get you to buy this game. And then we got some rumors here for you. Sorry, almost done. So far, the rumors about MW3 will feature. Okay, we know this about the maps. Red dots are supposedly going to come back on the minimap. That was gone in Modern Warfare 2. It's a huge change back to classic. People looking at where the people are shooting from. Reload canceling returning, which is massive. You could not do that in Modern Warfare 2. People hated that. Slide canceling returning. Ninja returning as a perk. It's gear, I guess, in this game. I don't know. It says gear in parentheses, but Ninja is returning. It wasn't in the other ones. Perks will be gear. There you go. That explains it. And then War Mode will return. War Mode hasn't been in the game since I think the World War II. And then of course Outbreak Zombies mode. It's supposed to be one of the biggest zombie modes ever made for Call of Duty. I think that one of them is also open world zombies. So should be huge. Daniel, your thoughts on MW3?
Yeah, I'm interested to see the reveal tomorrow. Before Gage started getting me to play Modern Warfare 2 DMZ with him and I guess Cold War Zombies with him, I haven't really played multiplayer Call of Duty for the last probably 6 or 7 years, really. I mean, I've dabbled, but not really seriously. So like, I don't know that I'm necessarily the target for that, but I will say I really enjoyed DMZ, and Gage and I were talking last night, and it sounds like they're not going to be continuing support on DMZ through Modern Warfare 3, which is disappointing, because that's like one of the highlights for me of Modern Warfare 2. And also the big thing that I've played in the last 6 games is the campaigns. I always play the campaigns because, like it or not, like it's dumb action, and it's like a 6 or 7 hour campaign that I can just plow through, and it's always got some cool set pieces and stuff like that. Sometimes a good story, you never know what you're going to get out of them, but yeah, I think I just have to see what it's going to be. They may end up conning me into getting it. The MW2 maps are interesting because I loved MW2's maps back in the day. They're very iconic maps. It is disappointing that they're not coming to MW2, current MW2, but yeah, I guess we'll see. Zombies could be another wild card as well, because I do really like zombies as well. So, and Treyarch, of course, is making the zombies mode for this game, which it's insane that literally all their developers work on every game at this point. It's fucking, yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, also, if you're upset about this and upset about the price point being $70, literally wait 2 or 3 weeks for Black Friday, because last year I remember vividly Modern Warfare 2 was on a pretty decent, I want to say like $20 off for Black Friday, and it's only like 2 or 3 weeks after the launch, so keep that in mind as well.
Gage has been back on his Call of Duty game. He's been saying, he's like, I'm back, baby, and I'm trying to actively avoid practices like this. I'm really trying to be like anti-Activision and anti like yearly releases. Like I've been burnt on this. Like Modern Warfare 2, it started off so high for me, and then just like rapidly, like no, this game very rapidly declined for me. I was not having fun. A lot of the changes made just weren't substantial enough for me to retain me or bring me back even. So I'm trying to like, I don't want to be burnt again. I'm going to wait to see what Modern Warfare 3 consensus is upon release. If you guys get it, you can tell me what you enjoy about the single player, because Makarov is back, I'm curious. And then, I think the zombies mode has me the most curious, and of course tomorrow we'll see more at the reveal. I think that'll, kind of put me somewhere on the spectrum of am I excited or not excited. And I think if I am excited and I'm considering picking it up, I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait till after release, see if it's buggy, because usually these games launch pretty broken. See what fans are saying, and then if I do feel like I'm gonna pick it up for the zombies alone, even play with the homies, play with PXN, then I'll do so when it's on a sale, probably Black Friday.
Oh yeah.
All right, perfect, bro. Thank you.
I don't know if I'm ever going to play a Call of Duty game for the rest of my life.
That's fair.
Yeah, I respect the shit out of that, dude. That's me with Marvel movies. I'm kidding. I don't know.
Respect.
Fantasy Draft Chicken
video of Christian in the movie theater watching Avengers Kang Dynasty or whatever.
Dude, does Marvel even know what's happening with King Dynasty?
No,
you know?
probably not.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Fantasy Draft Check-in. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk launches Friday. No scores yet, though. No scores yet.
Uh-oh.
Maybe tomorrow. I think tomorrow or Friday morning is embargo, so it's fine. It's an indie game. It's fine.
What if it gives you negative?
It's fine. I'm expecting like 3 to 5 points max.
Man, we're really close to Armored Core too.
That's 9 days, man.
Yeah.
And I am nowhere near done with Final Fantasy. I haven't played it in like a month. And I'm working on some other thing that, I'm not going to mention here, but that's taking a long time too. Also, it's hot. I don't know. Also, anyway.
Everything's going wrong.
It is. And yeah, everything is also going so right when I get on the phone.
Oh, geez.
Not like that.
Are we leading into the sexy time talk now?
No. Oh, we could do this though. Actually, first, what you got for me, Daniel? You playing anything?
Oh God, you guys are so disappointed in me again because I've still just been playing Halo and I haven't gotten back to Zelda. And fuck, I'm only a couple weeks away from vacation, and there's no way I'm gonna finish Zelda by then. You're right, Christian.
I'm always right. Ro has been playing nothing, I'd imagine.
Correct. Yes.
Perfect. I also have been playing nothing except this week. Hold on. Except this weekend, we all got together, sans Ro. And played some Pummel Party. We played some Pummel Party. We finally got we got Gage hooked almost immediately.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. We played 2 days, and Dan, we're like, all right, Dan, we're not gonna like gang up on you this time.
Yeah.
And then he starts the game, and like 3 turns in, he's like, someone's gotta start it. And then he starts attacking us because you can attack each other on Pummel Party. It's like Mario Party, but you have like the added addition of like the items you can use against players like hurt them. So you'll lose blood and health, and you can die, and you can lose keys, and keys you use to buy the crowns, which are the star equivalent. And so Dan goes, someone's got to start it. And that was it. That's all it took. That's all it took.
Wait a minute. Let me defend my honor real quick, because to be fair, I did start it, and I did say those words. However, what transpired after that, fucking the entire match, literally, there was like at least 3 or 4 times where people made the decision to attack me instead of a smarter decision that would have helped them advance their game. What? And Christian won every single one. Christian always wins them. He always wins them.
There was a moment where I used a magnet on Daniel so that I could steal keys from him, right? And then later, like a couple turns later, Daniel gets his magnet out. He got one and uses it on Gage and goes, "Hey, Gage, remember when Christian did this to me?" Like, that's justified. So much fun. Ro, you should get Pummel Party and play with us. It's so much fun.
I need to get it.
We're going to pull you.
I actually don't even know if Dan likes it. I actually have no idea.
Oh, I enjoy the hell out of it. I just get fucking... I'm very competitive, as you guys know, from GOPX Energy. So when shit's just going downhill, I just get fired up.
Incredible. Apparently, Gage has been playing Exo Primal, but he's not here to talk about it.
Bro, we're pulling you in next time. Whether you want to or not, we're going to fucking bring you in.
This weekend we can play. This weekend. Do we have time for Christian's super secret segment? What do you think? Or do we want to skip it?
Sure.
I hope we have time.
Care.
I want time.
Okay. I'm going to send you a link in PXN After Dark. We'll just do it there. Wait a paste.
No.
Oops. That should work. Why don't you go ahead and copy paste that?
That is such a ominous link.
It's a Google. It's Google.
Okay.
And it should bring you to a Google where you have a roll dice feature. Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. It should automatically roll a d20.
I got 1.
I got 9.
Ignore the actual roll. We just want to make sure that the d20 is up. So you're now entering video game Dungeons and Dragons. I will be your DM for the next 15 minutes. And we're going to throw you into a scenario. Ro, Dan,
Yeah.
you wake up. It is somewhere between the hours of midnight and 4 a.m., seemingly towards witching hour. It is very dark. It is a full moon, and you have the fog creeping in across a kind of decimated field. You are in a bunker. You look up and you see that the parts of the ceiling are missing, seemingly because of bombs. You look down on the ground and you see rubble all around you. To your right is a door and a window. Behind you are stairs leading upward. And to your left are 3 windows. Daniel, what do you do?
Go to my left to the 3 windows
And
and go out.
can you give me... I'm going to do a... Let's do an intelligence check. Roll that d20 for me, Daniel.
Okay, it's rolling 5.
You try to escape using one of the windows and end up slapping your face across the wooden boards covering the windows,
Oof.
picking yourself back up, dusting off your face. Ro,
Yes.
what do you do?
Can I ask questions before I decide?
Sure.
Okay. You said there was a hole in the roof, right?
The ceiling. Yeah, the ceiling. There's holes in the ceiling.
And those were caused by bombs, you said?
Yes, there's rubble all around you.
Gosh.
The ceiling has been given away because of bombs that have hit this
Okay.
stony
I
architecture.
kind of want to go up the stairs and investigate what happened.
Okay, give me a constitution check for you as well. Oh, sorry, intelligence check for you as well. And roll the 20.
I'll roll it right now. I got 16.
You go up the stairs, scratching your chin, and notice that the way up the stairs is covered by couches and several debris.
God damn it.
Yeah, and you can't go around or over them, seemingly blocking the way up.
Fucking The Last of Us.
What the fuck? LA!
Help!
Dan,
Yo.
back to you.
All right, this may not be an allowed answer, but if I'm am I back in the building again, I'm assuming?
You're still in that
okay.
main area.
Okay, so bombs fucking dropped. There's holes in the ceiling. You got windows everywhere. All this shit happening. Okay, if I'm in this fucking building and I survived and bombs are dropping, I'm fucking staying right there. Because it didn't get destroyed that whole fucking time. You know?
Sure. Okay.
Is that an option?
At this point, you start hearing the screams of something out in the fields approaching you. They're still a ways away, a couple of turns away.
What?
But you start to realize that danger is looming, and you have to look for some kind of weapons, both of you, in order to survive. Daniel, what do you do?
Oh my gosh. Well, I look around to see if there's any weapons nearby.
Can you give me 1 second? Roll the dice.
Okay.
Roll that d20.
Rolling. It is 19.
You're scanning around the debris, lifting stuff up, not seeing any weapons, but on the walls you see that there is an arsenal of 2 weapons.
Oh.
A bolt-action rifle
Okay.
and a semi-automatic rifle. You can only take one.
Oh, fuck. I take the semi-automatic. No doubt about it. Fuck.
You pick up the semi-automatic and add it to your arsenal.
Hell yeah.
That is, you now have a D8 for damage. And I'll give you a modifier.
Not bad.
Ro,
Yes, sir.
what do you do?
Well, I assume I may not have the same items in my room, so I look around the debris on the ground from the bomb.
You're in the same room as
shrapnel.
Dan. You're right
Okay.
next to Dan.
Oh, we're in the same room.
You and Dan
Okay.
are in the same room together.
Okay,
Oh.
perfect. Then I would like to pick up that bolt action rifle. If Dan's not going to take it.
Perfect. Bolt action is added to your arsenal. You also have a D8, and we'll give you a modifier as well. semi-discretion until further notice. You hear the screams coming closer and realize you don't have much time. You only have one more turn to look around and settle in before the enemies start to appear.
Fuck.
Daniel.
Yeah. I look for bullets. I need bullets for this fucking semi-auto.
Assume you have bullets in your. Yeah,
Okay.
you have bullets in the guns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
As a reminder, the windows to the left are shuttered. They're board. The stairs going up you cannot go up. They're blocked by debris. You have a window to the right and a door to the right.
Okay. Go in the door.
Can you give me another? Give me an intelligence check. Roll a d20.
Okay. It is 5.
Actually, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. We're gonna be nice and give you another roll.
Okay.
You're gonna do we're gonna give you a strength check. So let's roll a d20.
Okay. 18.
We'll do 18 plus 2, not a natural 20, but still a 20. You notice that the door is closed shut and locked. You try opening and you cannot open it with just your hands. You decide to take a few steps back, taking a deep breath, looking at Ro, saying, "Let's go." And run
Let's go.
straight into and through the door into a separate room. In the separate room, there is a long arch, like kind of a long way towards the right with 3 more windows, a hole in the wall across the wall apart from you. There are more stairs leading up and a box with a question mark in the left hand corner.
Is it me still?
We'll give you another turn. Yeah. What do you do?
I mean, I've got to fucking open the question mark box.
I've
got to. Sorry.
It's right there.
I know it's probably bad, but I want to.
Let's give me another check. Roll that d20.
Okay. 4. Oh no. That can't be good.
We'll do plus 3. So we'll give you a 7. You open the box and you start to hear a jingle of some kind. And you see flashes of weapons appearing in front of you, some powerful, some not so good. And you pull out a needler.
Yes!
From Halo.
Let's
and add it to
go!
your arsenal.
Woo!
Ro, it is now
Yes.
your turn.
Okay. I assume I walked into the hallway with Dan.
Wait, can he open the question mark box also?
If that's what he wants to do.
I want to go upstairs, man. Why are all these paths blocked? What's going on?
Give me a strength check, Ro. Roll that d20.
Okay. I'm gonna get away from these whatever enemies are coming. Dan has a needler, but I got a bolt action. I got a 20.
Oh, you start going up the stairs and realize that debris is blocking your path.
Fuck.
But you are so angry after the first time that you yell and say, "Not this time." And with the force of your strength and your yell, move everything out of the way with a single push and open the area up to the second floor with a balcony and grenades available to the both of you.
Wow.
You add now 4 grenades to your arsenal, both of you.
Yes, Ro. That's right.
Let's go.
At this point, the screams of the enemies are in the first room that you started from, and they are tearing at the wooden boards. You now have 4 enemies entering the area. Dan.
Yes. So are they already entered, or are they still in the process?
They're in the process of entering. Yep.
Okay. But none have breached yet?
Nope, they're entering that first room.
But have they breached the first room?
No, they're entering.
Okay.
They're still taking the wood out from the
Okay.
first room.
So we
From the
got
windows.
time. We got time then.
You got time.
This is where you, like in Call of Duty Zombies, would like
Yeah.
fix the Just
No,
go
Ro.
back.
No, you've got me mistaken because this is the time I would roll the question mark box again to try to get the ray gun.
There we go.
All right. What else is in the room? There's windows, right? All right,
Yep.
let's go back to the windows again.
Okay, give me an intelligence check.
Okay. Oh, my phone
Roll
went
that
to
20.
sleep. 3.
You go towards the windows, trip and fall.
Are you
Take
fucking
one-
kidding me? That sounds like
Take-
me.
Take 1 damage, and as you're picking yourself up and dusting yourself off, you notice that the windows in this room are also boarded by wood.
There's no escape.
Did I also yell "fuck"?
I'm sure you did. What? Bro.
At this point, I feel like I've lost all hope. So I feel like I'm going to stand at the top of the stairs, ready my bolt action, and get ready for those zombies if they come up the stairs. Just ready to fight.
Bro, if you click on that D20, it'll disappear. Right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Or I
Now-
added a new one. I added 3. Oh no.
No, clicking on it should make it disappear, like on the actual dice, like on
Oh,
the
okay.
screen, the
Got it,
big
got it.
ones.
Okay.
Okay.
got it. Yes, it's gone now.
Now you're gonna go down and click on that purple 8, and that should give you 1.
Okay.
Roll that. What did that give you?
I got a 7.
You got a 7 plus 4. You ready your bolt action rifle, noticing 2 enemies trying to get into the closest window towards you. You ready yourself, shouldering the bolt action against you. Slowly breathe out, squeeze the trigger, instant headshot on the first enemy. Roll a second D8.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna say a
I
headshot
got-
on me for a second there.
No.
Just put him out of his misery. Got a 6.
You cock the bolt or whatever the fuck, however you say it. Ready a second shot,
Clink.
squeezing again. This time you do not land a headshot, but you land on the torso, breaking the enemy's lungs, and they are now on the floor. They are seemingly dead.
Seemingly.
Now, there are 2 more enemies at the far end of the first room, now entering the first room.
Uh-oh. It's still my turn?
No, it is now Dan's
Okay.
turn.
Oh, okay. Am I at the top of the stairs with Ro now?
No, you are still near the windows of the second room.
Okay. Am I able to run to this where Ro's at?
Sure, but let's also give you an action, though.
Okay. Shoot the monster that Ro started shooting and hit.
Just in case.
Yeah,
So the one on the floor,
the one that's not dead. Right?
Seemingly dead.
seemingly dead.
Seemingly
Oh,
dead.
I thought
He
that
might be dead.
the second one, right?
Yeah,
The first
it's
one
on the ground.
dead.
It's not moving. Seemingly dead.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna double tap for sure. Yeah.
Just in case.
Okay. Which weapon are you going to be using? The needler or the
Oh.
semi-auto?
You're right. Let's use the semi-auto.
Okay. Give me that same thing. Roll a D8 for me. So get that D8 out.
D8. Okay, and roll. 8.
You
Ooh.
take out the semi-auto, ready it, look to Ro and say, "Let's go."
Let's go.
Let's go. Shoot it at once. It turns out the enemy had a grenade on its belt, and you land the first bullet right on it, blowing up the enemy to smithereens. And you
What?
turn to Ro and say, "Yeah, I think it's fucking dead now."
Yes.
Nice.
At this point-
Legendary.
2 enemies from the first room are now crossing the door and entering the second room.
Where the magic box was.
Yes.
Got it.
Back to.
Wait, did I
fuck
make
up the
it?
order somehow?
Did I make it to? Did I make it to the
Oh.
stairs?
You went. Yeah, we went upstairs with Ro.
Okay.
You shot from up there. So okay, so now it's Ro's turn. Yeah, it's Ro's turn.
Okay. So they have entered the second room
Mm-hmm.
and we're at the top of the stairs, I'm guessing. Okay.
Yes.
So I slowly walk down the stairs. Slowly walk down the stairs. And unholster one of my grenades, take out the clip, tink, and toss it around the corner where I assume they are entering the second room. So I toss it down the hallway, back to the wall, trying not to get hit by the explosion.
Roll that D8 for me.
Shoop. I got a 3.
Okay. And we'll do this. Okay. So we're going to do a modifier since it is a grenade. We're going to give you a +3. That's 6. You toss. Okay. So you've tossed the grenade. You hear it bounce on the floor a couple times, and it rolls right in between them. And you get to see the explosion and the shrapnel kill both of them instantaneously. You now have a breath of fresh air.
Hell yeah.
Beautiful breath of fresh air.
Congratulations, boys. You've survived the first round of Nazi zombies in Noctur and Totem.
Let's go.
That was
awesome.
literally the first map from COD Zombies. Yep.
Legendary. We did it, bro.
Well done.
I
loved that grenade shot.
I'm gonna be quite honest with you. If they wouldn't have died from your grenade there, my next turn was gonna be I pull out my grenade and sacrifice Ro. because he ran down the stairs a bit, so I'm like, fuck, I gotta do it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That's fair.
Do you see what I mean, Ro? He's always after like teammates.
There's literally enemies that were. Why are you going to have to be? Kirik in the chat said, "This is so cool. Yes, Flatfoot, double tap. I like your style."
Oh yeah.
That was awesome, Christian. I love that.
That was
glad you had fun. I had my dice ready to go too in case you needed me, but Google had us. Going to the topic of the show, our final news item. Baldur's Gate 3 and AAA Studios. There's been some discourse online, some dungeons and discourse, if you will, over at IGN. Oh, what's his name?
Destin Legary.
Destin Legary. He released a video called Baldur's Gate 3 is causing some developers to panic. And this kind of set off a kind of storm on Twitter for the next day or two. If you haven't seen the video, I linked it for us in the document. You can check that out. But essentially, it boils down to this. There were a couple of developers before the release of the game. Granted, they were indie developers who tweeted out like, "Hey, expectations aside, do not expect AAA games to be of this caliber. You should not be expecting like this kind of level of polish, quality, what have you." I'm kind of taking that and distilling it into my own words here for the sake of conversation, but essentially, like, don't expect AAA games to be the same as Baldur's Gate 3. And so Destin Legary's response was, well, why can't we expect this kind of quality from AAA games, especially since, they demand more money and, they take a long time. They have a lot more financial support and backing, et cetera, et cetera. And it seems like the common practice of AAA studios these days is to kind of squeeze you out of most money, get you into their economy, buy loot boxes or battle passes or spend money in the, Eververse shop, Bungie, et cetera, et cetera. And so there was a lot of discussion about, just AAA gaming in general. And the response from a lot of people was, well, maybe Baldur's Gate 3 is an exception to the rule despite its disruption to the industry. Remember that Baldur's Gate 3, the studio, I forget their name. They are an independent studio. Larian, thank you. They're an independent studio with a mid-level amount of employees. They have a lot of employees, but they're still kind of independently ran. So they get to choose like their own timeline for things and whatever they need. It's on them. They had a high budget and they had a lot of time to cook on the game, which meant they also had a long time in early access to work out all the kinks. And not everything is worked out. There's still a lot of bugs in the later half of Baldur's Gate 3. They're sending out a patch pretty soon to fix those. Yeah, I kind of want to get your guys' take on the whole situation of should we expect kind of industry-shaking games from more AAA, like, Assassin's Creed Mirage is on the way. Are we expecting kind of that same level of, groundbreaking RPG elements from other games?
Yeah, it is a fair conversation for sure. Should we be expecting it? I guess that's just a personal preference for me because I don't know. Should I be expecting it? I'm not really expecting anything necessarily from any game unless there's a game that I'm really excited for. I guess is my comment that I would make. I don't know. That's just a really difficult question because not every game, like thinking back, like not every game I'm expecting to be like a 10 out of 10 masterpiece game. Like there's certain games that I think about, and you mentioned Assassin's Creed Mirage. That's a great example where I'm like, I know that game's not going to be a masterpiece, like a 10 out of 10 or anything like that. But I have an idea of what it's going to be, and that's why I'm interested in playing it. Should I be expecting more out of it? Maybe I should be pressing more on Ubisoft and saying, like, why are we okay to settle for this rather than, try to spend a couple more years to, like, make something more innovative or, a uniqueness to it rather than just something that's iterative. And something you mentioned earlier, Christian, about annual releases of Activision, like, same idea where, it's just becoming iterative where every year it's, pretty much the same thing. They're just iterating on it and there's nothing that's revolutionary. So like maybe we should expect more out of these games. Maybe. I don't.
Before I let you go, Ro, this is one of the reasons why I have such high expectations for Starfield, because it was in development for so long and because it was like a dreamt about game for so long that they've had these ideas cooking in the tank for a long time. And more importantly, they had the support from Xbox to polish. It's seemingly like the least Bethesda buggy game that's ever launching. So when we call back to earlier, Starfield, one of the most important games for Xbox, this is exactly what I mean. Not in terms of what reviews it's going to get, but in terms of innovation and kind of the way it'll kind of grab and kind of shake the industry. The same way kind of Elden Ring did last year with the way it took, the Soulsborne formula and put that into an open world setting. The way Tears of the Kingdom did this year with, outdoing somehow Breath of the Wild with its open world Zelda concept. The way Baldur's Gate 3 is doing now. I think Starfield can do that with, a Bethesda RPG in ways that can be exciting for the industry and kind of pave the way for more games to take those ideas moving forward. We mentioned this last week. Art. Rose said that art is innovation or something similar to that effect.
It's collaborative.
Collaborative. Thank you, Ro. And I think one of the ways that we in the industry can really grow is to lean into that collaborative part and take ideas from different places and make sure that our games are fun and innovative. And it's unfortunately it's always the kind of money end, the business end, the C-suite end that kind of has their own demands, and I think makes for worse products, in my opinion. Ro, how are you feeling on this?
Yeah, my first instinct is that yes, we should expect this sort of quality especially from AAA games. But I do agree with Dan that it's definitely a personal / case by case basis where I don't think every game needs to be as good as Baldur's Gate, or I'm not expecting every game to be as good as Baldur's Gate. It shouldn't have the same features. It shouldn't be as beautiful, or I'm not expecting that. I'm just expecting at the very least that you're respecting the player that's buying the game and that you're at least trying to make a good product at the end of the day. Like we talked about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet earlier. I love that game, but maybe I should hold Nintendo to a little bit of a higher standard because of how crap that game launched and just how it just didn't work in some cases. And then there's Breath of the Wild on the other hand on the same system that is running fantastically, that does respect the player's time, that does look beautiful, using that hardware to the max and charging more, but not much more than Scarlet and so yeah, I just expect especially AAA developers to use the money that we're giving them to hopefully make a game worth playing. And that isn't half baked, isn't unfinished. So yeah, I think I do expect games to be of a certain quality if they're coming from a certain studio, but I'm not expecting them to be the game of the year game just because they're coming from a certain studio, if that makes sense. Yeah.
You made a great point too, Ro, about I feel like you can understand if a developer has the intention to try to make the very best game that they can. And I think that's very important. Like what you said, are they trying to make this as good as they can? if they try as hard as they can to make it as good as they can, and it doesn't quite hit, the best of the best level, I don't think, that obviously shouldn't get as much criticism as something like, we're just gonna cash in on
Overwatch.
another sequel. Yeah.
Yeah, Overwatch. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, that's exactly what I was about to bring up, because you mentioned, oh hell yeah, you guys stacked all the dice. Hold on, I gotta take a picture real quick. You mentioned respect, and I brought up 3 examples, all of which were like praised colloquially online by the amount of respect it had for its players. Like they shipped as finished products. That was at Baldur's Gate 3, hundreds of hours to beat that game. If you so wish, you can beat it in less, obviously, but it's still like substantial amount. Tears of the Kingdom, very full feature game. Elden Ring as well, full featured, no microtransactions. Those were like so praised by people because of like it shipped. It was a $60 or whatever, and hundreds of hours you can spend in it and not spend a single dime on anything. That's what I mean. Yeah. And then you compare that to Overwatch 2 in the ways that it's failed its audience and its players even, and you can't help but like think there's like a disparity there between what the developers' intentions are at making games and what these kind of bigger companies are demanding from the devs, from the studios, to kind of retain players or retain money or retain an income. And so when you have that clash between art and the business side, I think that's where you get the kind of what Destin was getting at, causing some devs to panic. It's not necessarily the devs, but it is some kind of, I wouldn't call it panic, but it is like noticing that disparity between like games that are shaking the industry, which are the ones that respect the players' time the most, games that were given time to cook and to be as fully featured as they can be, games that were given respect and love for years before they even launch, and games that are put out to make some money. I'm agreeing with you, Ro. I'm not saying every game you see Baldur's Gate 3 in terms of quality, in terms of like scope, but you can even feel those in like a 45-minute indie game can have the same amount of love that a Baldur's Gate 3 can. It can be just as impactful.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't have much more to add.
Yeah, it's just funny that there were like that. It's like the movie industry in a weird way. Like the big studios are just like taking all the wrong ideas, all the wrong, like that's not what we're saying. What you guys are saying is what we're saying. But they're like, oh, don't expect every game to be this good. It's like, we're not expecting it to be this good. We just make them like you're trying and not making us forego for extra money after we already paid for the thing. Yeah.
Dan, I want your take on this last thing.
Yes.
There's been a little bit of talk online about the Series S in particular. I don't want to go so far as saying like, I mean, Paul Tassi writes in his tweet saying Xbox Series S parity demands are now handing Sony free wins. I wouldn't go so far. It's a little bit clickbaity, I'd say. But if you click on the actual article, the reason they talk about Baldur's Gate 3 and the reason why it's not on Xbox consoles right now is because they can't figure out split screen on Series S right now, and so they just need more time to cook on that before they can actually release it. And so there's been discussions online about the mandate of parity between Series S and Series X, and how seemingly some kind of future releases of games could also be impacted in this way because of the Series X and S needing to be different. It's holding some games back, supposedly, right? And to an extent, I'd say some of them might be. So I don't know. What your thoughts on that? Do you think the Series S is holding back a few games from being on that console, like day and date with other, with PC and PlayStation?
Yeah. Honestly, I can't. Obviously, we've heard a lot from developers that have said that the Series S is harder to develop for. This is the first time that I feel like we've heard of an actual like game not shipping on Xbox as a result of this. So I don't know personally if this is like causing Xbox to lose Xbox games left and right here. However, in this scenario, it's definitely an interesting conversation, and it's Microsoft's own doing, because they decided to go down this path of having the Series S and Series X, and they want feature parity, which makes sense from a consumer perspective, because if you're going to advertise to your consumers that the Series S is the same as the Series X, just less powerful and can still run the same games, it's a little disingenuous to not have that parity, because if you're picking it up for Series S and you're like, man, I'm excited to play co-op with my significant other or whatever, and then they realize that they can't because they own this other box. Like, personally, I think that was a good decision for Microsoft to demand feature parity, because I think that would lead to more issues with consumers if there wasn't parity. And not to say it's not disappointing that Baldur's Gate 3 isn't releasing, but that's Microsoft's bed that they kind of made themselves by creating the Series S, I guess. But also, and it's also interesting too, because Microsoft's own engineers have been working with Larian trying to get it working on Series S, and it just seems like they're very much struggling to do that right now. So, and obviously this is a very taxing game. It's a very visually pleasing game. So, yeah, definitely interesting.
I would say I worry a little bit for like the, as we're approaching kind of the mid point of these consoles, when games are trying to take more advantage of the hardware. I will start to worry about kind of the mandate of parity. I mean, it does make sense.
Yeah.
I would also rather have like uniformity in terms of like consumers not being confused on which version is able to do what. That makes 1,000% more sense, I should say. But I do worry in terms of like quality of what we're going to be getting in terms of like gaming on the Xbox side, when like, you have multi-platform games releasing and one of them has issues. And not to say that it's not vice versa as well. PlayStation has their own issues as well. But yeah, I'll worry about the state of like the capital G gamer, I guess, in that regard.
And even like Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite came out on Xbox One and current gen Series S and X and PC, and one of the major omissions was split screen campaign co-op, which has always been a staple of the series in the past, and a lot of fans were upset about that. But I think that could very well be another situation where they looked at it and they're like, I don't know how the fuck we're gonna get this running on an Xbox One or or maybe even the Series S. They maybe had an issue with that on the Series S as well. So like, it may not be the first time that this issue has come up, but maybe developers have, pushed features aside as a result of this, which would be disappointing because you're losing out as a consumer in the end. Like, if Microsoft first party developers are purposely leaving out features because the Series S can't handle it, that is a concern for sure. So, I guess the other concerning thing is we're only 3 years into this console cycle. So,
oh shit, you're right.
Like, we still got a lot of time left.
Why did I think it was like 4 or 5 years? You're right. It's only 3.
Yeah.
Huh.
Take it back. It's because the Switch. You think of the Switch as this gen, right?
No, I think of the Switch is like 2 gens ago, dude. Still love that thing though.
Era.
Yeah, for real. Any final thoughts from you, Ro?
No, I think it's like Dan was already saying, I think it's good that they aren't releasing it, because I don't think that would be a good look at like this is a more egregious example, but like Cyberpunk on the PS4 and like them releasing that was not a good idea. They should have just either not released it or made sure it works before it was on the platform. So obviously this is a smaller example of that, but just making sure that everything works across the board is definitely a good idea. So it's good that they're working with them, as Dan pointed out. I didn't know that was the case, and just making sure it's good when it does arrive, if it does ever arrive. Like Hogwarts Legacy is another one that's supposedly supposed to come to the Switch. It definitely shouldn't. It really shouldn't. But they said that they wanted to do it. So whenever it comes, we'll see how that runs. But there's just some things that best left not being made.
So, to answer the question, how do we disrupt the video games industry, or how do developers disrupt the video games industry with their games?
Yes.
Turns out, complicated. Who knew? Who knew answers wouldn't be simple? Who knew? Gage would know, I think. But he's not here.
Also, shout out to Keurig in the chat. When I pay for a game that is priced $69.99 or $89.99, they aren't going to give it to me if I'm $5 short. They expect every penny. Therefore, I expect every AAA game to be as perfect and unbroken as they can be.
That's fair. I mean, that's hard-earned money, you know?
Yeah.
And things are expensive nowadays. Let me tell you what. I could go on about this all day. You're giving your hard-earned money for these games.
Yep.
Sometimes collector's editions of these games. So
That don't even come with the disc.
that don't even come with this, man. You better hope the freaking game runs well, and it's hopefully at like a locked frame rate. Anyway, that's it. I gotta go. It's so hot. Thank you again to everyone joining us live on YouTube and Twitch, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your pods. Thank you, Roshan. Thank you, me. Gage, forget you today. That's Daniel, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out of here.
Much love and keep on gaming.
See ya.
Oh, keep cool out there.